I love you guys to death. So here we go. The Indianapolis Colts have traded the 155th pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 155th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jeremiah Crowder Jr., linebacker, Clemson. Let's go!
Yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? No music today. We're gonna go straight into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Time to get down to business. Hey, so
What's
what's up?
up? I'm doing good, man. What's up, man? How you doing, man? You said straight to business, man. Um, let me get is the ticker up there? No, it's not. Let me put the ticker up here. Let me make sure that's up there.
Oh, it's up now.
Oh, it's up now. Okay, yeah. Because we got a little surprise. We thought we was just gonna come in here and talk basketball. Got Angel Hernandez. If you can
Yeah.
see there, Angel Hernandez retires. I'm sure there's some of y'all, whoever out there that's watching this that follows baseball, just hearing the name Angel Hernandez probably does something to your psyche. You know what I'm saying? If you know anything about Angel Hernandez, or for those that don't know anything about Angel Hernandez, um, he is I'm trying to think of the name. He's like a combination of all the worst refs in the NBA right now. He's Tony Brothers.
Scott
He
Foster.
he's Scott Foster. Now I don't like
But
I
here's the
don't
thing,
I
those
can't prove that he has any money on these games because I think he's just a terrible ref, a terrible umpire. But yes, he is. He might have a little bit of what's his name in him too. What's the boy that got caught cheating, betting on the NBA?
damn, I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Tim Donaghy. Yeah, he might have a little Tim Donaghy in him too. But he's
Yeah.
terrible, man. He's the worst. He is as lowly as I think of these NBA refs. Angel Hernandez is worse than them to me, in my eyes, and he's so brash with it when it comes to getting in players' faces, like straight up, like yo, that ball was a whole 6 inches, half a foot outside of the strike zone, but you calling it a strike. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he clearly, when his calls start favoring one team, it's a wrap for you. You're done. And if you argue with him, he's gonna make sure he upstages you as a player to make sure he could toss you out the game. He does a lot of crazy stuff, man. Like, he's been out of control for a long time. So it's a little bit shocking for us to see that he's retiring, man. Uh, but we gonna get right into it. So
Well, we got they got some of his worst calls up on uh on the New York Post, and I have that queued up. So
oh
and this
yeah,
is the first time I'm seeing them. So we get to take that adventure together, guys.
I'm sure I've seen compilations in the past on him, but I've seen a lot of these clips individually as they were happening from Angel Hernandez. So I'm sure whatever clip they got now is even worse. But yeah, but either way, our topic says Angel Hernandez is forced to retire with a question mark because from the research that we've done, from what we can see, it seems all signs point to him in the league having a sit down and talking about his
Yo,
retirement. And anytime the league has to sit down, or your ownership or your leadership has to sit down with you and have a conversation about your retirement, then they're basically telling you, we got to fire you or you can step down. That's usually how these conversations go within the police force, within, we see it in the movies all the time how they depict it. Hey, you messed up. CEOs of companies, all these things happen, and it's like, for our image purposes, we would rather you just retire, and we could save face on both sides of this. So it seems as though after many, many years of the MLB allowing Angel Hernandez to run rampant, they are finally putting their foot down and they're forcing this man to retire. So, Mark, whatever you got, that's all I got to say on it for this point, up to this point. So, if we could see some of these clips you talking about or whatever you got going on, I'm trying to see this, man. And like I said, for the folks that aren't familiar with him, I hope you enjoy whatever he's about to pull up now.
Yeah, man. All right. So I apologize for that. Phone call to be ignored. But no, here's the thing, man. Like, he pretty much summed it up about Angel Hernandez. But some of the interesting things about what was going on with him is that his lawyer came out and said he was not forced out of the MLB. And but anytime that it says a settlement was made, like, you didn't just leave, but they were a settlement was made, is very, very interesting. And that means, like, there was a negotiation in you leaving. Like, please, like, yo, please leave. Let's negotiate this.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem the more interesting thing I find about this, and that I have to do more digging on, is how hard is it to fire an umpire in the Major League Baseball that you have to negotiate with them like you're in Taken or something. Like, are you Samuel L. Jackson out here? You the negotiator? Like Kevin Spacey? Like, what's happening that you are held hostage, and you have to go into negotiations to get somebody that is terrible at their job to leave?
Yeah. That's a great question, Mark. But this is what I love, Mark. They're playing with words, right? His lawyer says that he wasn't forced to. Yes, whenever somebody gives you an ultimatum, technically you're not being forced to do anything. What you're given is a choice. You got choice A or choice B. So yes, if you chose to retire, they didn't force you to, because they can't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we all know, like, you're a lawyer, you're gonna say that. That's what you're supposed to say. But like you said, settlement means there was a negotiation. Settlement also means that it could also mean that there is a pending lawsuit. Your lawyers being involved lets me know that there was probably a potential lawsuit.
Right.
Now,
Well,
in
now, mind you, now that you brought that up, just to
yeah,
let everybody know, in case you weren't aware, Angel Hernandez has once filed a lawsuit against the MLB, saying, because they never used him for
playoff games,
World Series or playoff games, and he was never at the time elected to be head umpire or whatever, and he was saying it was because of race. That lawsuit was thrown out in 2021. Like, that kind of shows you the like how vicious or maybe spiteful Angel Hernandez might be. Like, because
he,
like he had a lawsuit going for 6 7 years, like 5 years.
yeah. No, Angel Hernandez is wild. When I'm telling you guys, he's brash. He just in your face, like, he's wild with it. Like you said, he had a lawsuit against them. Like, you've been undoubtedly the worst umpire in all of the league for all of these years, but yet you're lucky to still have this job. But yet you trying to sue us for not putting you on the biggest stages. Like, that's wild, flagrant to me, Mark. And then to say it's racial discrimination, like 80% of the MLB is Hispanic.
Right. Like,
I
hey, I don't know how
like
many is umpires though. So I mean,
there's maybe you have something there, but at the same time, it's like it would be the equivalent of Draymond Green suing the NBA because he's saying he's being targeted while being tossed out of games. And it's
Yeah.
like you're earning that every single time. Like it's that like Angel Hernandez, like I said, it's one thing if you're just an average umpire, but when you are undoubtedly the worst, you can't then complain about not being picked for World Series or playoffs. You know what I mean? Like they're discriminating against me. Okay, show me the numbers. Well, the numbers say you fuck up a lot of calls.
Right.
Like you don't have a case here, buddy. Like, so yes, but either way, Angel Hernandez, I'm not a big fan. I don't know. You want to get to these clips?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get to them right now. Here. All right, man. So, pulled up the wrong thing. Da-da. All right, man. So here goes first clip from Angel Hernandez. This is Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber getting into it with Angel Hernandez after his awful zone call all game and being rung up on a pitch off the plate in the ninth.
Here it comes.
Jesus, that was wide. That was so wide out. That is crazy.
Zero issue with getting thrown out. Making it very clear. You've missed him inside, outside, up and down. Kyle Schwarber thrown out after being punched out by Angel Hernandez. And Joe may go too.
Yo, he wasted no time
Schwarber is
throwing them
speaking
out
for
neither.
both sides tonight.
Hey, he already knew what it
saw
was. He
a
already
lot
knew
of
what it was
those
going to be.
demonstrations, none like
Like he
Boy.
wasted zero time
Hey,
throwing
look
them
how
out.
calm he is, boy. That man looking at him like, you know what it is.
As a hitter,
You know what it is. You out of here, boy.
That you can't come back from.
Because usually the umps will argue back. He was like, nah, there ain't nothing to talk about.
Yo, like he just like he immediately as soon as he came over, he was like, "You're out of here. Don't worry about it."
Some of Angel's finest work. Okay, is that
Okay,
another clip?
and
Here's
this was
another one.
and this one was Rangers rookie Wyatt Langford earlier this year on a pitch against the Astros that was so far off the plate that it may as well have landed in San Antonio.
Okay.
For the home run, and on top of it, the hardest hit ball of his big league career, and now he's finding out about Angel Hernandez's strikes.
It's bad when the announcers are talking about it. They said now he's finding out about it, Angel Hernandez.
Good at bat, some loud contact.
Hey,
How can you call that a strike?
That's disgusting, Mark.
That first
Angel.
one is impossible to call a strike. How do you possibly call that a strike, man?
Gray gets the call.
All right,
2-1
and
Braves,
then
third inning, Tyro Estrada.
Hey,
Now that is a wide strike zone.
Next up we got this was from
Long days feel a lot shorter and a lot more fun.
shredding Hernandez for a call that went to the Mets.
That's
Yo,
not
what
even
up,
close.
King Mike?
Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming from May to Anderson.
Come on,
On the
man.
outside corner, Anderson protests. And you can understand
man,
why.
Like I said, I hope you guys are
Ball appeared
entertained.
maybe to be low and outside. But Angel Hernandez
You're
rings him
watching
up, and that's the first down in the bottom of the ninth.
Him twice, first time against this plate.
Well, it's
Or
not
no,
an
this is
official
post-
game.
My bad. This
Until
post is from
Angel.
this year, but
That's strike three, folks. Yep.
yeah, but I'm sure these are from over the years. These are some ridiculous ones, though. Like, yeah,
And this was back. This one right here was back in 2021.
yeah. My bad. Yeah, I'm looking at the date of the post. But either way, they're all egregious.
Yeah,
You know that he's the only umpire that I know the name of.
yeah, he is. I don't know any other umpire's name.
Yeah,
I feel like if you know a referee's name except for Ed Hockley, it's not a good thing.
yeah. Ed Hockley is the only one that you know because of him being that great.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
also you knew him because he was jacked as hell. And
Oh yeah, first off, that boy, that man looked like he was 65 years old, running up and down the field with the players, arms yoked. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he worked out for real. Like, yeah, Ed Hockley too. Yeah, but he was recognizable, but at the same time, like Ed Hockley was the only ref that I knew that would call everything the way it's supposed to be called. And then he was the only one that, if it was a questionable call or some calls that somebody consider questionable, he would explain it in detail as to why they made the call. He's the only ref that I know in the NFL that would always explain why he made the call. Shout out to Ed Hockley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another one. I don't know what year this is from, but
Yeah, King Mike said, "Oh, these bugs be fixing games." Hey, look, like I said, I can't prove that Angel has money on it. I personally just think he a terrorist. I
yeah,
think
like
the
I
man
don't.
gets joy out of it. Like
Can't get him. Oh,
because with
no!
certain
He was
players,
safe.
man,
No!
in certain moments,
Yo, he said out. Like he was
yeah.
on the
No!
plate the whole time. Yo, the announcer is going nuts.
Well, Angel Hernandez blew the call, and the infield being back should have cost him
Look
the
at how
game. It
calm
didn't.
he be when he be making these when he makes these calls, Mark. That's the type of
Look,
shit that
he's on the plate. The ball's nowhere
Right
near.
there, he's safe.
He is
does
safe.
not have the ball.
And another blown
hey,
call by
he's
Hernandez.
staring right at it, Mark. This is so disgusting, man. Like this is so disgusting, man. Like I really can't stand this dude, Mark. Look how calm he is. Look how calm he is, man.
Yo, the way he screamed, "Oh no, oh no!" Like he's like, "Yo, how do you possibly do
No
that?"
way, dog. There's no way. Like what? Like
Can't get him. Oh, no! No!
yeah,
He was
dog,
safe at
No!
sick, bro. Yeah, this Angel Hernandez, man, he been terrorizing the league for so long, man. Like, hey, you see the way these players be blowing up on them, dog. They like, ain't no effing way, bro. I
Yeah,
should clothesline you right now.
like Angel Hernandez being out the like Angel Hernandez is like that scene from Wizard of Oz. Like you know what I mean? Like like when the Munchkins finally came out because
yeah.
the witch was dead. Like
Look, man.
that's what it
All,
feels like, dog.
look, all I can tell you, all I can tell you is that man Angel Hernandez, like what he's been able to get away with for so long. It's been a travesty, man. Like, how can you want me to take the league serious when things like this are happening and there's no repercussion? I can't remember, Mark. Did he get suspended at some point?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I feel like he did.
It might have been
recently.
something. It might have been something around doing with his lawsuit, but I don't think so. But the fact that, but long and short, guys, is Angel Hernandez is out of here, and you want to know who else is out of here? The
Who
guys
else is
in
outta here?
Pacers, they're out of here.
Hey, man. Hey, Mark. I don't know if you've seen the picture. There was a picture floating around on Twitter with Tyrese Halliburton on the day of Game 4. He was at a race at the track there in Indianapolis. He was at a race. Took a picture in front of one of the cars, man. Um, hey, immediately Pacers fans was like, "Nah, man, take your ass back to wherever and put up some shots, yo." Hey, his hamstrings look fine. This is how I knew.
How do you say
Pacers-
somebody's hamstrings look fine when they
Mark,
stand
he
still?
was
Dog?
standing still in front of a car, man. Hey, these Pacer fans was not having it, boy. They
like-
said that man's hamstrings look fine. He's standing still. He not jogging or nothing. They was like, "Nah, son, you need to go put up some shots." Like, hey, man, look, I can tell you this, Mark. Now, like I said, I didn't want to feel like a hater when I said it two episodes ago. I didn't want to feel like a hater when I said it to you offline a couple days ago. But I told you I didn't like Tyrese Halliburton's personality when it comes to how he acts when he's winning versus when he's losing. And I said, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But him being hurt for game 4 and then being at the track
Hey,
like he and I'll be honest with you, from everything that I've seen about his personality, he does not care. I mean, when I say that, I mean he doesn't care. He knew what the backlash was probably going to be. He does not care about what they're going to say about him in that moment. He knows the backlash is coming. He does not care. He's not one of these KD types that is going to say he don't care, but then really do. Like Tyrese Halliburton legitimately does not care about what people say about him, man.
All right. I like this question here. This is from Tales of Sports. I'm so conflicted with situations like that because on one end you want the player out there, but on the other end, the way James Harden hamstring never fully healed, they shouldn't play. All right. Two things. Don't shoot James Harden bail. He's just lazy.
Hey, you wasn't gonna let that rock. Okay.
No, no, not at all. Like, no, it has nothing to do with a hamstring never healing. He's just lazy. Second of all,
That's what happens when your stuff don't heal when your body ain't used to working out like that. But
right?
go ahead. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And second of all, yes, you're right. The players shouldn't be out there. Halliburton shouldn't be out there. He literally injured his hamstring 2 days ago. Like because they're basically playing every other day. So like
Yeah, at
Halliburton
this
has
point, yeah.
like this isn't like other Eastern Conference Finals where it was like every 2 to 3 days they're playing the game. Like
Yeah.
they're playing a game every other day. He injured his hamstring practically 2 days ago, and if you have a true hamstring pull, that is at least 7 days, at least.
That's 7 days
And
if you minimize all
right,
activities with your legs, right?
right, and truthfully, it's like 2 weeks to 10 days to two
Well,
weeks.
yeah. I was just gonna say this is, you know what, Mark, you making me bring up this stuff because this really upsets me, man. As somebody
Yes,
who ran,
we could go with it. We could go with it all day. But
yeah, no,
no,
yeah, he should have played.
you're not gonna hit me with
Look,
the James Harden.
look, I'm always gonna advocate that the players don't play when they're hurt.
Right.
You can ask Mark, even in times where Mark will say, "Nah, man, you was on the court, you should have played." You once you're on the court, you got to go. I'm still an advocate of saying, look, if you hurt, don't play.
No, now to Dr. Real, he said I seen Giannis damn near break his leg and play the next game. Hey, and that's shout out to Giannis. Like we've seen Kobe play with dislocated fingers, broken
Broken
fingers.
fingers,
Like we've seen
like
him like play with messed up shoulders and everything, and that's shout out to him. But I'm not going to poo poo or yell at the next man because he's saying I would like to play the piano later in life. Like,
yeah,
like you
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah. Nah,
I'm
man.
not
So
gonna,
like,
I'm not going to poo poo the next man because he says I don't want to have Kenny Smith knees. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
hey, look, but yes, I like once again. So I said I always advocate for the player to stay off the court. Now with that said, though, there's a difference between staying off the court, trying to rehab an injury, and then staying off the court and going to public events.
right? Yeah, that
So,
part is wild.
so,
That's the
so, so
part.
that's like, you got to understand. That's why they're outraging. It's because it's like, are you trying to heal? Like, it's okay if you can't make the game. We would at least like to believe that you're trying to do what you can so that you could possibly make the game. But if you can't, we understand. You're not even trying, bro. You out there trying to watch the damn Indy 500. I'm obviously it wasn't the Indy 500, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you out
Right.
there doing photo ops. So for me, but the other part I want to say is the conversation around hamstrings has to change, man. You got a bunch of non-athletes always talking about hamstring injuries, bro. Like, unless you've ever had a hamstring injury, you have no idea how long it takes to heal from a hamstring, bro.
Right.
I pulled a hamstring. I pulled a hamstring, and then 7 days, Mark. I went 7 days, had a track meet on a Saturday, went to try to do a just high jumping event at a
Mhm.
state track meet, and I felt fine. I was able to sprint and jog and do all that shit. I went to the track meet, first jump, pulled it. Tried to do the mind over matter thing. Did my second jump. Just terrible pain. I was like, well, I'm going to try to see this thing through, do a third jump. I jumped again, Mark. what I found out 20 years later, Mark, is that I partially tore my hamstring doing that. I have bone fragments that grew back inside of my muscle tissue that show up on my x-rays on my left leg
Right.
because of me partially tearing my hamstring and ripping the shit off the bone. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and I felt good after 7 days. I felt like I could do anything after 7 days, and I still was hurt. So I'm sure with modern medicine, maybe 7 days is the earliest you could come back. But if you pulled a hamstring or strained a hamstring ever in your life, there's no coming back in 2 days. You understand that?
Like soft tissue
Yeah,
tissue injuries sometimes can be the worst, could take the longest to heal.
they linger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And here we go right here. Chris, who is a fellow
I would
enthusiast.
say he's a
Like,
fitness enthusiast.
yes, he's a fitness enthusiast, but he also, I know that he is also a trainer. I know you have to go to school for that. So he understands a lot about the body, such as myself, who is a trained, licensed massage therapist. You know what I'm saying? So, and he says those soft tissue injuries you can't mess around with. They take a long time to heal, which is exactly what I was just saying. But I do want to get back to the last three comments here. King Michael Hall says, if you got that type of injury, you got to stay at the crib or in the room. And that's 100% true. Like, but to a degree, I want to give them grace because the Pacers don't have a true vet on the team to
They
tell
don't.
them. They don't have a true vet on the team to tell them the optics of you going anywhere is
It's gonna
crazy.
be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
Right. And
They
so
could have wheelchaired you over there. They don't care.
yeah, like
Yeah.
him being young, like he don't understand the optics of the situation either. So like he gets a slight stall out on that end, but nah, it's still crazy. You're not supposed to do that. You got to stay in the crib. But Tales of Sports says he got to show off that polo sweater, stall him out. King
Hey,
Michael
look.
Hall. King Michael Hall responds to that and says, "Nope, full press."
Hey, look. Hey, look. Hey. What's crazy is people. I seen posts leading up into the playoffs and during the first playoff series versus not the first, but during their second series when they're playing against the Knicks. I seen people saying, "Is Tyrese Halliburton's 15 minutes finally up?" Look, man, you
That's
know you got
crazy.
people.
Like, how can somebody like you get an injury and they like your 15 minutes is up? Like what?
No, that's the thing. He had a couple of bad games in like game one, game two versus the Knicks, and they were like, "Is his 15 minutes finally up?" What I'm saying is, you had people preying on your downfall already.
Right.
You can't. You the optics is going to look even crazier to those people. Like, you know what I'm saying? You
Absolutely
really
right. You
you
absolutely
got
right.
to be careful, man. You got to be careful out here in these PR streets, man. But either way, Pacers got swept. I don't think anybody's surprised that the Pacers got swept. Once you learned of Tyrese Halliburton's injuries, you know, it's you already thought that they were done before, but once you knew they won that series coming in, and the situation with Tyrese, you just knew game's going. This shit is over. We don't. This is not a series that we're going to talk about. I honestly believe that New York was better equipped to try to challenge the Boston Celtics than the Pacers were. So yeah, no surprise here. I'm not surprised that they didn't get a game. I was surprised of how close game two was
Yeah.
that went to overtime. I was surprised by that, but let's be honest. The sweep happened. Nobody's shocked. That's why nobody's really talked about Boston this playoffs, because everything's been a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
It's
So
pretty much been like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. Like this is
yeah,
what we expect of you.
Absolutely, and they've taken care. And credit to Boston. Shout out to Boston Celtics. They are taking care of business in a manner and fashion that we expect them to take care of business. There's a lot of times that we have these juggernaut teams going to the playoffs, and then you think things are going to happen one way, and they start to disappoint you with their performances versus lesser teams. Boston is getting all these lesser teams up out of there.
Yeah. Now that's where you got to give credit. You got to give credit
Yeah,
where like so many times we've seen great teams play down to their
yeah,
opponent. This has been a team that all throughout this series they have never played down to their opponent.
yeah. They haven't. I'm in. I'm actually I've been impressed with what Boston has been doing as a team. I feel like this last year they had great pieces as far as complementary pieces to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and the complementary pieces were showing up and showing out. And I thought the complementary pieces were overperforming. They were performing above a standard that, or I felt like they were outplaying their potential, is what I will say,
Right.
which I felt was unsustainable. And then once it showed itself to not be sustainable in the Eastern Conference Finals, it wasn't a shock to somebody like me, and it wasn't a shock to somebody like Mark. But this year, it seems like it's more of a team effort. Everybody is evenly contributing and doing their part. It's not just, hey, we're relying on what's his name? We're not relying on White to go off for 38 points in a playoff game because Jaylen Brown didn't show up. Like, it's not, you're not having these big disappointments from one player and then having another player overperform. That's not what's happening here in Boston. Boston is just moving like a well-oiled machine at this point. So yeah, shout out to Boston. Uh, shout out to Joe Mazzulla. His second year as a coach. He was terrible last year. I'm not going to sit here and hold you. He was absolutely terrible last year. Um, Adding Drew Holiday definitely helps, but it seems to me that Joe Mazzulla has uh, gotten a lot better as a coach. I still don't think he's a great coach, but you can't expect that from somebody in their second year coaching. But as of right now, I feel like the one thing that he's done is he's gotten his team to play as a team, and he's got them playing inspired basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say something about I want to say something about game 1. Like, because people been giving a lot of crap about that shot going into overtime. Like, bro, you cannot defend better than that defense. Like, his hands being behind his back, like he playing perfect. Like, he had his hands behind his back, smothering Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown
Yeah.
is fading away to the left. Like, he's not just fading away; he's fading away to the left, and
Falling out of bounds.
and going out of bounds. And he just hit a magical shot.
Yeah.
Like,
He was as physically close, as humanly close as possible to Jaylen Brown as one can be without touching somebody. There was no space given. I don't like. There's nothing that you could have done about that. Sometimes you do everything right, and the results are the results.
Right.
That was Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, that was
right?
Siakam.
Yeah. Shout out to Siakam for actually playing phenomenal.
Like, that was
defense on
heads up.
play, man.
That was heads up defense. Absolutely.
That's a heartbreaker, though. That's one of them
Yeah.
joints that you could sleep at night. You could sleep at night. You didn't mess up. That man just made a shot.
Now, King Michael says he could have put his hands up and get him to get that off the line. But here's the thing. No, Mike, he couldn't. Because if he put his hands up, all it would have took was Jaylen Brown to put his hands into his hand. And now he's shooting free throws.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. Like, we watched. This is what, like, for instance, this is something that Kobe used to do all the time. Like, you put your hand up, he's going to shoot into your hand. He's going to make sure that you make contact with him. And
I
then
was gonna
now he's going to the free throw line.
I was gonna say, do we got to rewind to last year's playoffs where we had what's his name? We had Jimmy Butler versus the Knicks, and
Right.
remember how that's what they tried to do. They saw him over there in the corner. They went to close out. They ran and jumped at him. He made sure he kicked his leg out just enough or whatever. He made sure that contact was made with him on that 3-point shot, and he went to the free throw line.
But now you saying
You
get those
cannot
points
do
off
that,
the free
man.
throw line? That's Jaylen Brown. It ain't
The man is good. The man he probably gonna make all three of them. What are you doing?
Isn't Jaylen Brown like 86% or something?
Yeah,
from the free throw line?
he's not a bad he's not a bad free throw shooter, dog.
Like
In the way that he's been playing,
like forcing that shot was far more difficult than him going up there and shooting 3
I would rather Jaylen Brown take that awkward 3-pointer than put him on the line for 3. Like this is you're missing out on so many different points, man. You put him on the line for that. Let's say he makes 2, miss the third, they get the rebound. Now they're up 2.
Now
Or they're up by 1.
now that's game.
Yeah, like they're up by 1, which means it's game. Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, like there's so many bad things that can happen once you put them on a free throw line, but you never want to give them free shots. Yeah, I don't care what you say. You never want to foul on a 3-pointer at the end of any game. There is no scenario where you're going to live with that situation.
Right. Like for instance, I still kill Steph Curry in the Cavs series because I remember the final shot of Game 7. I think it was the final shot of Game 7 where Steph Curry's running around and I think they were down 4 and he and whoever it was jumped at him. He moved out the way and shot the 3. I was like, why didn't you just shoot the 3 and take the foul? Like, it didn't make no sense. I was like, why did you move out the way?
But we know what James Harden would have done. We know what James Harden would have done. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I hear you, King. I hear you, King Mike. I hear you. You saying at least the optics ain't you didn't D up. But at this point in time, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. You're not worried about optics if you're Pascal Siakam. You're talking about a guy that has tasted, the sweet victory of winning a championship. You're talking about somebody who has been there before. You know what I'm saying? He trying to win, boy. He ain't worried about optics.
Nobody's worried about optics in this situation. Excuse me, but the way that he was chest to chest with this man, like, I mean, it was nipples on knees. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was nipples on knees. Jaylen Brown just, like, dog, that's great defense. Jaylen Brown just did it.
Yeah, there's nothing else you could do about that, man. Like, he was on them. He was on them, man. Like I said, if you're more worried about optics at that point, I don't want you on my team, man. Like, if you're worried about individual optics at that point, we got a problem.
Yeah, and Taylor Sports says Jalen's only problem is his left hand, which is very true. This dude, he is the only person in the NBA today that I think can't dribble with his left.
It's atrocious every time you see it, man. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Like,
it looked like Tyrese Halliburton on the when he dribbled that joint off his knee. That's the stuff that Jaylen Brown does with his left hand.
When you look at it today, Rudy Gobert, like, the bigs can play with both hands now.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, bigs can dribble off both hands now. Like,
it's actually kind of impressive how effective Jaylen Brown has been without how you make it this far like that.
He gives me hope.
Hey, that man averaged 29 points a game in this series. 29 points a game in this series versus Indiana with no left hand. That's crazy.
That he deserved that Eastern Conference.
That man is a 2-guard. He's a 2-guard with one hand. That's crazy. A 2-guard, one hand, drop 29 a game on you. Look, shout out to Jaylen Brown for being able to be all NBA player last year. You know what I'm saying? With no left hand. That's insanity, man. But yeah. You're right, Mark. Everybody got a left hand in the NBA today.
All right, I noticed someone is in. I noticed someone is in the building. Harry Thomas Troutman is in the building. What up? Hey, I know that you're a baseball guy. You follow baseball. How just type in the comments how you feel about the Angel Hernandez trade. We did show some clips earlier of some of his more egregious. Or, I mean, not his trade, but the retiring. And we did show some of the clips from earlier of his more egregious errors. And I was just wondering how do you feel as a guy that watches baseball about Angel Hernandez finally being up out of there? But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and next up we got the one sweep was out the way, and now sweep number 2.
It's loading. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You get the little
like
loading symbols. Like it's at about 95% loaded up for that sweep,
not,
man. It's almost
the
finished.
broom was added to the cart.
Yeah, it's in there.
The
Hey,
broom was added to the cart. You know what I
the
mean?
plane
Like,
tickets are bought. You know, they already reserved. You know what I'm saying? That's it. The cabana is already rented. Mark, you
right.
know.
Like I don't know, man. Like it's weird because the problem with this series that I'm having is the fact that the Wolves. I can't really blame the players here. This is a problem of coaching.
Yeah,
It's a it's a complete problem with coaching. All right, excuse me. I'm gonna get to this comment and then I'm gonna get right back to our regularly scheduled programming. I mean, hot take, he had some pretty horrible calls, but he became the face of all bad calls, which wasn't cool either. Either way, I know Bryce Harper is pretty damn happy. We showed the Kyle Schwarber clip when he was flipping out on Angel, and
yeah.
Kyle looked like he like you didn't need to hear him. Like
You knew
everything
he
that he
wanted
was
to fight.
pointing at, every which way, you could understand every word he was saying without even being able to read lips. Like
Yeah,
Kyle was upset. But I hear you when you say that he became the face of all bad calls.
yeah,
And yeah, and we mentioned that like we don't know anybody else's name, face in uh in umpiring when it comes to baseball. He's the only person we know, and we know it because he is the face of bad calls. And but when you
yeah,
make that many egregious calls with games, some of them with games on the line, do you not deserve it? Like,
yeah,
and if it's becoming such a problem, like you got to know when to bow out, man. If your eyes are bad at this point and stuff, it's time for you to hang it
yeah,
up.
yeah. And this is and to counter argue that, like, the reason why he receives so much venom is we are noticing in every single one of the clips he's so nonchalant when it comes to these calls. He's kind of like what about it type of attitude. It comes across as, and then like you said, the Schwarber one, like before he could even throw his tantrum, he was already tossing them out. Like it's like he knew he made the bad call. He knew there was going to be a reaction, and he just said, "Just get up out of here, dog. I ain't
Yeah,
trying to talk about it. We're not going to have a conversation about it because let's be honest. In baseball, it happens all the time. You know, there's a bad call. Maybe the pitcher or the manager comes out to the field. They argue with the ump a little bit. They have their little back and forth, and essentially, it's what happens in the NBA a lot, where although all you see is the head coach going and arguing with the ref, essentially what they're doing is saying, "Hey, yo, you're making this mistake, or you're not calling a fair game," or the coach is basically, even though they're arguing, they're just trying to make the point of, "Hey, man, I see what's happening here, and I don't approve of it. It needs to change." And not, a lot of times, let's be honest, things tend to change a little bit depending on how the umpire takes it or how the referee takes it. but usually there is some sort of discussion that happens. It doesn't always lead to somebody getting tossed out, and it doesn't always lead to somebody blowing up like Schwarber did. But in a lot of these confrontations, he's not having a conversation with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
He just tossing people. So I understand why he gets that type of reaction versus the way other people get treated, other umpires get treated.
Yeah. For sure. Hold on 1 second. But no, back.
Hey, King Mike got a comment.
All right, let me check that real quick.
Hey,
If that been getting paid to make those calls, it's a miracle because he makes it. It's a miracle he makes it to the parking lot.
hey, look. What you saying? If he's getting paid to make those calls, he also has protection. He's also a protected person. I'm with you on that, but it's his attitude. It's his attitude towards all of his bad calls that makes it a hard pill to swallow as a player and as a fan. So
Right. Hey,
yeah.
and real quick, hey guys, just to let you know, um, Harry Troutman and Paul Troutman, they're brothers, and they have a podcast on Spotify, Apple, and all that stuff, and it's called the Trout Stream. It's interesting. They do a lot of voting and like talking about things from like our childhood and stuff, like where you like one that I remember is the best cereals, and another one was where they have this tournament style voting where is the best TV dads, and I forget who won that one, but honestly, Al Bundy made it pretty high in that.
Hey,
He made it pretty high in
hey,
that one, which. If you let's be completely
he's a
honest,
terrible father. Go ahead.
he was a terrible father. He shouldn't have. He shouldn't have.
He was a terrible person.
But like at the same time, I was just trying to make it. So like you know what I'm saying. But like y'all should just go ahead and check out the Trout Stream because it's pretty interesting. They're entertaining. So if you get a chance, go ahead and just give it a listen. If you see any other topics that you might find interesting that they talk about. But back to where we are. Back to where we go. Oh yeah, that's another part of it. Yes, they don't. They don't have anything to do with the who makes it to the top of the tournament. Everybody that's watching, they vote on it. So watching or listening rather, they vote on it. So that's also cool too because all of it comes from the people that is listening.
So real quick, I want to give a quick update. The T-Wolves are up 20-10 right now in the first quarter. There's 2 minutes 50 seconds left. Luka is playing. So I'm not watching it, but it seems okay from the stat box. 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3-point. He got 8 points and 4 rebounds already in the first quarter. So yeah, but the T-Wolves, it looks like Anthony Edwards is 3 of 6, 1 of 2 from 3. He's got 9 points, 4 rebounds. It looks like Anthony Edwards is asserting himself. But yeah, I definitely gotta get this joint up on the TV here soon.
All right. Well, very quickly, just gonna let you guys know this is probably going to be our last topic, unless you guys have something that you really want to get out, so we can all just enjoy this game that's going on. But here's the problem. Like, I really want to talk about this, and if you don't mind, Sean, I'm gonna just kick this off and take over for a half a second.
Go for it.
All right, so I want to talk about how we got here with the Mavs being dominant against the T-Wolves and how they are 3-0 and it shouldn't be that way. Like I said, I don't put none of this on the players themselves outside of Cat. outside of Karl Anthony Towns, I don't put this on the players themselves. I put this on the coach, and even when it comes to Karl Anthony Towns, I put a little bit of this on the coach as well, because in this you have an issue here where you have 7-foot Karl Anthony Towns. I mean 7-foot Rudy Gobert, and then you have damn near 7-foot Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns is out there shooting threes all game.
Yeah.
He is currently, like, before this game started, he is 4 for 32 in this series.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible? How are you 7 foot and the tallest person on the Mavericks team is 6'9", and you are just sitting out there in 3-point land shooting threes? Why is that a thing? Why isn't this team playing through their bigs? Like, now Sean brought up the point about if you play through Rudy Gobert, you are clogging the lane for Anthony Edwards. And so you're not getting the most out of Anthony Edwards because you're playing through Rudy Gobert. And here's my answer to that. Anthony Edwards, he has an inside game. So that is 2 points. Rudy Gobert, 2 points. I don't care which one of them score. It's the same amount of 2 points. So what I want to see is, hey, Edwards, I want you on defense. Focus primarily on defense, because we are going to play offensively through Rudy Gobert and Cat on the inside. So your energy is best used on defense. That's my estimation. Now, you could say Kyrie has been killing Edwards this whole time, and I feel you guys if you were to say that, because guess what? I wouldn't have had Edwards play Kyrie. The moment that Edwards say, I'm looking forward to the challenge of going up against Kyrie, me as the coach would have said, hey, man, this is even because he said that before game one even happened. I would have said to him, hey, man, we're not doing that. Like, just to let you know, I'm not putting you on Kyrie. There has yet to be a person that plays the game of basketball to be able to stop Kyrie when Kyrie wants to score.
Yes,
like,
true.
There has yet to be a person in the game of basketball to be able to do it.
Yeah, argue with your mama. I
doubt that you will be the first. So what I will do is have you, instead of wasting energy and a futile effort, I'm going to put you on Luka. And because you're not going to stop Luka, but you will be able to slow him down. And if you put more pressure on Kyrie, and the way you stop Kyrie is by putting more pressure on him to perform. So if you slow down Luka and Kyrie feels as though he has to do more, that's how Kyrie has a tendency to start playing a little out of control.
Yes, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a firm believer that if you have an elite playmaker on your team, and when I say playmaker, that's what I mean. Somebody who literally makes plays, i.e., in a facilitating way, right? They are able to create something out of nothing, right? Not just for themselves, but for everybody else on the squad. I want my best defender on that playmaker, okay? Because guess what? They can still kill you without being a primary scorer.
Right.
And not only if you play great off the ball defense on them, on the ball defense on them, then you get them out of a rhythm. If you noticed the frustration levels that Jokic was going through during that series versus the T-Wolves,
right,
was because
when Cat is picking him up early, and when they're just constantly running at him defensively, like it's putting a tiresome weight on him, and that frustration starts to set in. You saw him throughout that series, like he was running and his shoulders were loose and down, like he did not have the poise because he was tired and frustrated.
Yeah, for facilitators to think, especially these new age facilitators, that part of their ability to facilitate is their ability to score and the threat of them scoring. You watch a lot of clips of Jokic standing at the top of the free throw line. Somebody passes him the ball, he catches it. He just stands there with both hands up like this with the ball. He's looking around, and then he just shoots it from there because the person that's playing him, they're not really playing them tight. They're not swatting at the ball. They're not doing anything. They're just standing in front of him. And then because he has that behind the head set shot release jumper or whatever you want to call it, he's able to score comfortably. He's able to shoot comfortably. People were talking about how poor he was shooting from the 3-point line in that series, and it's because they were smothering. He was getting smothered at the 3-point line. They were not giving him any clean looks at the 3-point line. But this is what you do. You take the facilitator, the scoring facilitator, you take them out one way or the other. You slow down their facilitating by locking everybody else down and force them to be primarily a scorer, or you shut down their scoring and force them to be primarily a facilitator. That disrupts the rest of the team. We've seen it happen both ways. We've seen it happen to LeBron both ways. Right. It works. So I'm with you. Like even if Kyrie is somebody that you could guard, I would still opt to put the best defender on the facilitator. So Kyrie's not facilitating. So like you said, if you could slow down Luka a little bit and then force Kyrie to think that he has to score all the points, then now you have a chance,
Right.
But
like this series, honestly, I thought this would be a good series. This series, I'm not saying that they would absolutely dominate Dallas with this game plan, but this series at the very minimum should be 2-2 right now.
Yeah. Rudy Gobert is not the greatest offensive player in the world, but he's tall, and if you give him putbacks and little dump offs, he could get you 20.
Mind you, to be clear, a stat was put up by Dame in the 750 group from one of the NBA sites that showed that Rudy Gobert is 70.6% on inside scoring.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
since 2019.
Yeah,
so if Anthony Edwards is not a big time 3-point guy and he plays on the inside, just trade off that scoring to Rudy Gobert. So, and instead of having your guy run around bouncing the ball, dribbling, wasting all this energy to try to get an open shot, have him just pass it down low. Rudy, 2 dribbles in the basket every single time.
Yeah,
2 dribbles in the basket, and if somebody comes off for help defense, guess what? Rudy passes it off. It's open on the outside for the 3. Yeah, it's not hard.
And it might feel like this is something that people have forgot, but Cat is a great post player. Right. Like you forget because you don't see him do it a lot, especially not these days. He doesn't get asked to do it a lot. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, but I made a post earlier to say, hey, this is why Jimmy Butler used to bark on your butt, because this type of stuff, he see you doing this soft stuff instead of going down, getting gritty. He see you standing outside, taking outside shots, and that would piss me off. So
yeah, watching somebody start a game 0 for 11 from 3 is wild. A 7-footer going 0 for 11 for 3, and then not really taking any attempts under the basket is wild. 6'9". Look, I don't care, man. There's no reason for the coaching staff, for the head coach, not to try to take advantage of that mismatch. And my argument with analytics, and I'm gonna end my take off on this. my argument against analytics and the way that it makes people coach is the analytics says the best shots you could take are open lane drives from your wing players to the basket and 3 points. This is the most efficient way of scoring. And I asked, like, so if there's a 6'8" center or a 6'9" center somewhere and you have a 7'1" player, you know, where in the analytics does it say that you should just dump it off to that guy, especially when, like, you bring up a stat of him being 70% on inside scoring, and now you actually have a mismatch, and it's like, for whatever reason, with all the analytics going on, I never see any type of analytic breakdown that says that is a good shot or that is a good game plan. So it's like the only inside shot that they think is a good inside shot is one that is taking while you're driving to the basket for a layup.
Now,
yes. So
now, Tales of Sports says at times Cat has been more of a liability than Rudy.
Yeah.
But they're not going with that narrative that fits what the media players are trying to say. Exactly. Now, here's the funny thing, because I was just about to say, can you imagine if Cat was in Philadelphia?
And he'd be getting smoked. So you just asked me to imagine if he was what's his name?
If he was Embiid.
You're telling me to imagine if he was Tobias Harris? Because that's how they're going to talk about him if he was in Philly. They
like Philadelphia fans, and like myself included, because I'm not an Eagles fan. They kill.
You mean Sixers?
I mean, excuse you, right? That was blasphemous. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. I had to save you on that. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna let that one rock.
Take my time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please, nobody clip that. I'm an Eagles fan all day.
Yeah.
I'm not a Sixers fan. Excuse me. Allow me to repent. But here, like I was saying, they could not possibly live with that, because they kill Embiid. They destroy him. And Embiid can actually shoot a three, but he takes those outside shots and he continues to do it. They're like, yo, if you don't get your butt in that block, we're gonna fight. Like they have problems with this dude being that big and not being in the block. Like that was a constant thing. And Embiid actually can shoot. And Cat is out here being 4 for 32. Imagine if Embiid was 4 for 32. Oh, it would be war in the streets, bro. They wouldn't allow it. We will not have it. We will not have it all at all. I don't know what happened to my brother's stream. But it looks like it stopped for a second. I don't know if it was him or me. But anyway, that's essentially what we have for today. Do you guys have anything else that you would like to talk about, or like for us to get into before we head out of here? When he comes back up, or when his camera comes back up, I'll bring him back up. But is there anything else that you guys would like to get into before we head out? I'll give you a second. Oh, by the way, Mike Tyson, I'm pretty sure you guys know, but Mike Tyson had a medical emergency on a plane about a half hour before they were set to land. He had stomach ulcers. He says he's fine now. He's still scheduled to fight Jake Paul on the 20th, July 20th. Hey, the person I got winning tonight, I don't see the. I refuse to see the T-Wolves getting swept. Like, I think they're entirely too good for that. Entirely too good for that, man. So I think the T-Wolves takes this one. And yeah, man, shout out to Sean 100% for fixing that for me, because man, that was problematic. That was that was problematic, and it wasn't a Freudian slip. That was a horrible slip. I didn't mean it, Lord. I promise. I'm an Eagles fan all day. But I definitely think that T Wolves needs to take this one, man, and I hope that they wake up, and I hope that the coach does something a little bit differently here. All right, my brother's back. What's going on?
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened. My internet cut off for a minute, man. I'm about to sue these. Anyway, yeah. Hey, look, Mark. I'm upset, man. I'm upset that this keeps happening. You already know how often my stuff cuts out. But yeah,
Um, Tyson is saying that it's not serious. But I don't, and honestly, I don't know a lot about stomach ulcers to tell you like what's really real about that. But this does lead to like a concern in general about the fact that the man is in his 60s, right? Is he in his 60s?
if he's not, he's close to it. Let me look it up real quick.
Like you're talking about like
57.
Mike Tyson, 57 years old. I think the oldest fighter was Bernard Hopkins
Bernard Hopkins, yeah, and he
at
fought till he was
51.
yeah.
So like we're talking about B Hop, like, and we saw like what his last fights was looking like,
Yeah.
and this dude is 57, like, and now he has odd illnesses a month out before the fight. Like, come on now, what are we doing here?
Yeah, well, I was already a little bit upset. I've been upset ever since the fight got, agreed to because I already am like, man, I'm not here to watch Jake Paul get all these fights sanctioned as official boxing matches that will go on an official professional boxing record for Jake Paul, knowing that there's basically a pre-signed contract for his opponent to essentially take the fall. Like I already didn't want to see it. Now you're giving me more reasons, for it to be like, yeah, let it go, man. Like, hey, we could do without this already. You know what? Maybe this is a sign. You know what I'm saying? And when you're talking about the stomach ulcers, Mark, the only other person that I have known to be a professional fighter and deal with that type of stomach issue is Brock Lesnar when he was fighting in the UFC, and that's one of the reasons why he retired. I know with Brock Lesnar, it was because of his diet and all of the red meat that he was eating. That was a part of his issue, where basically he essentially had a hole in his stomach.
Right.
So he had to drastically change his diet. It is serious. With Brock Lesnar, I remember thinking to myself, what do you mean he's retiring? They were essentially telling him that, look, man, this stomach issue that you're having is going to take a couple of years for you to recover from. And it's something that you should take serious. So it wasn't just a, hey, I'm hurt, I can't fight my next fight, I'm retiring. It was even if you do want to return, you're gonna have to wait years. So I don't know the nature of Tyson's stomach ulcers situation, but things like that can be serious. So
Yeah. You know, this is off topic of sports,
yeah,
or at least maybe a little bit. But I realized in 2024, Vince McMahon, Brock Lesnar, and Diddy all all had some things come to light.
look,
And it's relatively the same type of thing.
hey, the Brock Lesnar Vince McMahon stuff was wild.
The Diddy stuff is wild. Like,
The Diddy stuff is the Diddy stuff is wild. You know what's even wilder than that, Mark? So I saw a post, since we on the Diddy stuff. I saw a post from, we were talking about all the old posts from Carisha, right? And obviously the most recent one where she's like, "Hey, man, when I said that, I didn't really mean it. I just did that so I can run my numbers up because I'm selling something, you know." And it's like, but I remember those 11 other tweets where you were talking crazy to other females and other women about what Diddy was going to make them or not make them do if you asked. Like, so it even more disturbing than the things that Diddy and Vince McMahon did is the willing participants such as Carisha and Brock Lesnar. Like these people were all in, Mark. They was all in.
Like, yo, can you imagine if like actually I don't even want to finish that.
Nah. You notice I try to be careful. I ain't even give you the quotes of what Carisha was saying because she was talking
like
crazy.
I was about to say something, then I just said nope. It's that.
Nah, man. I was trying to keep it as PC or PG as possible, man. Because look, if you guys don't know, you go look it up yourself. But yeah,
Hey.
Vince was basically like, you know what I want to see, Brock, and then Brock was like, I can do that. You want to watch? I can do that. You know what I'm saying? So when I talk about these willing participants, I mean, I understand somebody like there's sick people in this world. There's murderers. There's people there's serial killers. There's sick
Diddy.
people in this world. Yeah. There's Diddy. There's sick people in this world. What I don't understand are the people that are not exactly as sick as them, but they're sick enough to say, I don't want to be the ringleader, but I want to be a part of this. Like, it's a different type of sickness, Mark.
Right.
I'm okay. I'm okay as long as I'm not the ringleader. It's insanity, man.
Yeah, that is wild.
Hey, I like that, Troy. I like that.
Hey, I want to point out. But I like what King Michael Hall said here in response to Troy. He said this fight can't be more than 6 rounds. How can he last? And King says he can last if Mike take it easy. I like I feel like King is saying Jake Paul can last 6 rounds if Mike takes it easy on him. But I like how you flip that. I like
absolutely though, Mark. Hey, we seen how long Roy Jones lasted when Mike took it easy on him.
Hey, man. And by the way, Troy, you said Triple H might be the LeBron of wrestling because he stayed clean for so long. Hey, if I was coming home to the figure of a young Stephanie McMahon, I'd keep it clean too.
Hey, look. It's what's wild to me was, mind you, hey, this man, he just keeps moving up, Mark. You know, some people move up, some people move down. I remember how he came in the game. He came in the game with China. You know what I'm saying?
He leveled up.
hey, look, he came like Mark, and I'm not just talking about physique. I'm talking about mental stability and everything, dog. Like he could have been X-Pac. He could have been, bro. He could have been, man. He said, you know what? It's something toxic about this whole situation. I'm gonna get up out of here. Hey, and you know what? For him to be so closely in relation to or connected to somebody, the China situation, also X-Pac, like he was connected to both of them. And then he was also very connected to Vince McMahon. Yes, him staying clean, he might be better than LeBron, okay? This man, LeBron didn't have a person like Michael Jordan that had a gamble. He didn't have a Dennis Rodman on his team that was wilding out that he had to like withstand or no. This man was in a relationship with China, was essentially X-Pac's best friend, and then Vince McMahon's right-hand man and son-in-law. and that man kept his nose clean the whole time. Yo, shout out to Triple H. Hey, a man of high character, Mark.
Clearly.
Clearly, boy. Hey, you ain't heard nobody even mention his name in none of it. Not even a trace, boy.
No. If he was involved, he knew when to get out.
Look, man. Hey, you don't even hear steroid allegations on Triple H. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he figured that one out. And shout out to Triple H because right now he's getting a lot of praise for what he's been able to do post Vince McMahon era, and he's brought back a few wrestlers back into the fold.
He's bringing back the attitude era.
Yeah, he's bringing back wrestlers that were previously removed or exiled by Vince McMahon, or that other fans, even the fans, had said, you know what, their wrestling skills just aren't good. You know, their ability to wrestle safely, protect their opponents while doing moves on them, all these things. And all those fans that said that these people were rightfully removed are now saying that no, they have made improvements as far as their techniques and all that stuff, and then saying, like, you know what, maybe Triple H was right to bring them back. We questioned it in the beginning. So it just seems as though Triple H has always been the brains behind the positive movement or any good moves that have happened over X amount of years since he's been in that office, which we all kind of knew. But right now, you're getting an unbridled Triple H running WWE, and it seems as though the good times are about to start coming back, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said, restoring the feeling.
Well, hey, guys, that's it for this episode. We thank you for sticking around with us. We had a good interaction from you guys. We greatly appreciate that. We always appreciate when you guys are around. And it's better when we're not talking just into air and we're actually talking to people. But seriously, we had a great interaction with you guys. Thank you for watching. Share this out to your friends. Link, like, subscribe. You all guys already know the deal. You know what to do.
Hey,
we appreciate you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Rick.
I just had to flex for a minute. I mean, we just showed you our versatility, but we showed you we could talk the celebrity, non-factual boxing. We could talk WWE. We got some baseball up in here, man. Look, man. But yes, absolutely. Thank you for allowing us to get into a lot of these other topics that were kind of off the cuff, and staying here with us before it. So
Yeah, man. Thank you. We appreciate that, King Michael Hall. Thank you. He says W stream. Listen, and remember, always, it's only entertainment. It's called sports entertainment for a reason. Do not get too invested. Don't think that it's real, and always protect your bets. Whatever, think to yourself, hey, which narrative do the NBA want?
Yeah, please.
All right.
All right. Peace.